I held my wife's hand as she took her last breath. And a week later, her mother looked me in the eye at the funeral and said, "I'll fight you for everything." Yeah, that's where the story begins. My name's Philip, and what happened after Madison, my wife, passed away nearly broke me. But before I tell you how her mother tried to tear everything apart, you need to understand who Madison was, and who I was before I lost her. When I first met Madison, I knew she was different. Not just because she was kind or beautiful, but because she was bold. She didn't just dream, she acted. 1 month after we started dating, she quit her corporate job to build the business she always wanted. That's the kind of woman she was. Fearless, focused, and so full of quiet fire. And I believed in her every step of the way. We built a life together. We worked hard. We supported each other. And when we had our daughter 2 years into the marriage, I watched Madison become something even stronger, softer, and more fierce all at once. But there was one thing that always stood like a shadow in her life. Her mother. From day one, her mother made it clear I wasn't enough. And no matter what Madison achieved, it was never quite right in her mother's eyes. I saw how hard she tried. I saw how badly she wanted just a shred of approval. But it never came. Her mother had always favored Madison's sister, openly. It hurt her, that I know it did. But Madison never let that bitterness define her. She just kept giving, even when her mother didn't deserve it. After 19 years of marriage, just when we thought we could finally breathe, our daughter was off to college. The business was thriving. Madison got sick. Stage 4 ovarian cancer. Just like that, I watched the strongest woman I knew fight with everything she had. Chemo, surgery. More chemo. I was at every appointment, every bedside. I cooked for her, bathed her, held her hand through every tear and every moment of quiet fear. There were days I didn't sleep, but I stayed because I loved her. And somehow, she pulled through. Slowly, she got stronger. She smiled again, ate again, laughed again. It felt like a miracle. But miracles don't always last. A year later, the cancer came back. Fast, aggressive, ruthless, and this time, we didn't win. She passed quietly in her sleep. I was right there, still holding her hand. The hand I never wanted to let go. The funeral was a blur. People dropped by, offered casseroles, kind words, silence. But her mother, she came with a mission. While I was holding my daughter at the graveside, that woman leaned in and said, "Did she have insurance? Where are her savings? Her jewelry? I'll fight you for everything." That wasn't grief, that was greed. A week later, we met with the lawyer for the will. I had no idea what was in it. I never asked Madison about it. But of course, her mother showed up, confident she was about to take control of something she never built. But Madison had seen this coming. The lawyer opened the envelope and read aloud. Everything was left to me. The business, the house, the savings, even her personal things. And then he pulled out a handwritten note Madison had added. "I know what Mom is like. Protect yourself." I froze. She knew. Her mother exploded, accused me of manipulating Madison, said she was too sick to know what she was doing, called me a thief, a liar, said I'd stolen her daughter's legacy. But what she didn't know was that Madison had left a trail, emails, recordings, legal documents, all of it clear. She had made her decisions while fully aware. She had chosen to protect what she built, and the man she built it with. Her mother took me to court. She dragged me through months of legal hell, telling anyone who would listen that I was a fraud, that I had coerced Madison, that I'd robbed her blind. But she didn't expect the receipts. Emails, signed evaluations, recordings of Madison saying in her own words, "I trust my husband. I want him to have everything." The judge looked at her and asked one question. "Where were you while your daughter was dying?" She had no answer. The case was dismissed, and I never saw her again. After that, I focused on my daughter. I kept Madison's business alive, not for the money, but because it was hers. I wanted our daughter to see that her mother's legacy was more than just paperwork or a courtroom battle. It was love, determination, integrity. Madison's mother came for everything, but in the end, she walked away with nothing. Because the one thing she never understood was that Madison didn't just build a business. She built a life with people who loved her, who stood by her, who never gave up on her. Not when she was sick, not when it was hard, not even after she was gone. And that's something no one can steal. Thanks for listening. If this story touched you, leave a comment or share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, love is shown most in how we protect the people who trust us, even when they're no longer here to say it. Stay safe, love hard, and never let anyone rewrite your story.